His income didn't change. His job didn't change. But within a year, his financial life looked completely different. And that's because most people think debt costs them interest. What debt actually costs is opportunity. Let's run the numbers. Diana sends roughly $1,200 every month toward debt payments. That sounds normal. Millions of Americans do the same thing. But imagine if that same $1,200 was invested into a simple S&P 500 index fund instead. After 10 years, she'd have over $220,000. After 20 years, she'd have more than $700,000. Think about that for a second. The biggest cost of debt isn't what you're paying today. It's what that money could have become tomorrow. That's the hidden tax almost nobody calculates. Not government tax. Not income tax.
Meet Diana. She's 34, works in HR, earns $67,000 a year, and from the outside, her life looks perfectly fine. She budgets, she meal preps on Sundays, she contributes to her 401k. She's responsible. Yet every time she gets a raise, she doesn't feel ahead. She just feels slightly less behind. Why? Because Diana is carrying credit card debt, student loans, and a car payment. And every month, over $1,200 leaves her bank account before she gets the chance to build a future. Now, meet Daniel. He's 43, similar city, similar income. Nothing extraordinary about him. But 3 years ago, Daniel made his final debt payment. The last credit card, the last student loan, the last car payment, gone.
Debt tax. The future value of every dollar that never gets the chance to grow. And here's the scary part. Most people don't feel it because it happens silently, month after month, year after year, until one day they look at their retirement account and wonder where all the time went. But something interesting happens when debt disappears. When Daniel made his final payment, he didn't suddenly become rich. He simply created space. Space for his money to start working for him instead of against him. The first thing he did was rebuild his emergency fund. 6 months of expenses. No stress, no panic, no dependence on credit cards when life went wrong. Then he captured his full employer 401k match. Free money he'd been leaving on the table for years.
After that, he maxed out a Roth IRA, then started investing consistently into low-cost index funds. Nothing complicated, nothing flashy, no crypto moonshots, no stock-picking genius. Just simple investing. Month after month, year after year. The result? Over time, compound interest switched sides. For years, compound interest had been working against him through debt. Now, it was working for him through investing. And that's when something else changed: his stress level. Researchers have repeatedly found that debt doesn't just affect your bank account, it affects your brain. People carrying significant debt report higher anxiety, worse sleep, and lower overall life satisfaction. Because debt isn't experienced as a number, it's experienced as a burden, a constant background threat, a voice that quietly asks the same question every day. What happens if something goes wrong? Can you leave a bad job? Can you take a career risk? Can you start a business? Can you survive a layoff? For many people, debt answers those questions before they do. And the answer is usually no. That's what makes debt dangerous. It's not just a financial obligation. It's a limitation on your choices. Daniel noticed that almost immediately. 18 months after becoming debt-free, he accepted a new position at another company. Same salary, better long-term opportunity. Before, he never would have considered it. The risk felt too high. After debt, the math changed. And when the math changes, life changes. Now here's the important part.
This isn't about becoming obsessed with paying off debt. It's about understanding what happens after. Because becoming debt-free isn't the finish line. It's the starting line. The real goal isn't eliminating debt. The real goal is redirecting the money that debt used to consume. That's where most people fail. A debt payment disappears. A lifestyle upgrade appears. And suddenly the opportunity is gone. The people who build wealth don't just eliminate payments. They redirect them. Every dollar that used to serve the past starts building the future. And that's the difference between Diana and Daniel. Not intelligence, not income, not luck. Direction. One person's money is servicing yesterday. The other person's money is building tomorrow. And the gap starts small, almost invisible. But compounding has a personality. It is building tomorrow. And the gap starts small, almost invisible. But compounding has a personality. It starts slow. Then it accelerates. 10 years later, the difference is hundreds of thousands of dollars. 20 years later, it can completely change the course of a life. So if you're carrying debt today, don't just calculate the balance. Calculate the opportunity cost. Calculate what that money could become if it had room to grow. Because the people who escape the cycle aren't always the highest earners. They're the people who finally realized that debt wasn't just costing them money. It was costing them time. And time is the one thing compound interest can never give back.